Hello, my dear children. There was a famous Chinese general. He was brave and experienced in battle. He was well respected by his soldiers and his emperor. But he had one big problem. He couldn't catch a break. Every time he went to fight a battle, no matter how hard he tried, he would lose. He would come back to the emperor with his tail between his legs. Each defeat made him feel worse than the last. He started to think that he wasn't cut out to be a general. He was about to give up when the emperor gave him one last chance. If you can't win your next battle, the emperor said, then I will have to replace you. The general felt a surge of motivation. He knew that this was his last chance to prove himself. He prepared for the battle by studying his enemy and planning his attack. But despite all his efforts, he ended up losing the battle. When he returned to the emperor, he was so ashamed that he didn't even make an excuse. He simply admitted his failure. The emperor was very disappointed, but he kept his promise. He offered the general one last chance to redeem himself. He sent him on a mission to retrieve the magical elixir that would grant its drinker immortality. If the general succeeded, he would be rewarded with the emperor's daughter's hand in marriage. Everyone thought that the general would fail, just like he failed in all his battles. But this time, to everyone's surprise, he came back with the elixir. When the emperor heard this news, he was overjoyed. He went to meet the general outside the city. At first, he wanted to reward the general by letting him marry his daughter, but after thinking about it for a moment, he changed his mind. You have shown great courage and determination in retrieving the elixir, the emperor said. I am impressed. You may not be the best fighter, but you are a good and loyal servant. So here is your reward. The emperor took the elixir and drank it. Immediately, he felt a surge of energy and vitality. He was so happy that he had found the secret to immortality. He thanked the general and sent him back to his post. The general was deeply disappointed. He had risked his life and completed the emperor's most important mission, but instead of receiving the promised reward, he was sent away. As he was walking away, he heard the emperor talking to one of his advisors. Who do you think deserves to be my daughter's husband? The emperor asked. Someone who is strong and brave, my liege, the advisor replied. And do you think the general is strong and brave? Well, he has proven himself to be a good and loyal servant, but I don't think he is strong or brave enough, the advisor said. The general felt a surge of anger. He couldn't believe that the emperor would go back on his word. He had risked his life to get the emperor the elixir, and this was how he was being treated. The general decided that he had nothing to lose. He turned around and walked back into the palace. He walked up to the emperor and bowed. My liege, you asked me what I considered to be strong and brave. Yes, what is it? The emperor asked. The general took a deep breath and said, it is someone who keeps his promises. The emperor was stunned. He had never thought of it that way before. He realized that he had promised the elixir to the general's daughter, and he had gone back on his word. He felt ashamed and guilty. You are right, general, the emperor said. I am sorry for what I did. Here is your reward. He handed the general the elixir and told him to give it to his daughter. The general was overjoyed. He knew that his daughter would be very happy to hear the news. He bowed to the emperor and left the palace. From that day on, the general became known throughout the land as a man of honor and integrity. And all because he dared to stand up to the emperor and remind him to keep his promises. So, my dear children, always keep your promises, no matter how tempting it may be to go back on your word. And always stand up for what you believe in, no matter how powerful the other person may be. With that said, I wish you all a good night. May the tales and stories shared here continue to inspire and educate you. Until next time, goodbye.